You are sorry about last night's result. The Rangers beat the Penguins 5-3.
Hell yeah.
The Pens are up 3-2. If you want them for the series, it's minus 250, plus 202 on the take back for the Rangers. Now, this series is near and dear to our podcast here and to -3, which, by the way, very good episode the other day. Matt Money Smith, Handsome Hank on with Eddie Spaghetti, of course, and Shek. And I have to be honest, you treated Spaghetti with kid gloves there. You felt bad about the Rangers and what they were doing, and it was his 30th birthday and why that. And plus, there was the heat that was built between Matt Money Smith going after Pearl Jam. So it was more like, Spaghetti, come on, we're gonna get through this. It was a nice. I have a feeling this isn't going to be the same story here. After last night's game, Spaghetti's team, it may be. People are thinking Kid Crosby took a cheap shot, a dirty hit. Not sure if he's out. I know he's an upper body. No, Spaghetti's already shaking his head. All right, let's hear your view on it, Shek, and then Spaghetti's.
Well, as objectively as you could say, let's look at the facts here. First of all, this is anecdotal, but I will say the headline is the headline from the Gray Lady, the New York Times, the Lady of Justice today says, Jacob Trouba's hit leads the New York Rangers to a victory. His hit. I mean, yes.
But Trump says the New York Times is failing. Or is that
really
the Washington Post? I don't know.
Yeah, right. Well, that's also true. Yes. Intent notwithstanding, plain an elbow, a high elbow to the head of Sidney Crosby. I'm sick in the balls as a Penguins fan or if you like sports or if you're a human being, obviously anybody who misses, he's a millionaire and he's a stranger. It's not like Sidney Crosby is my pal or anything, but I root for him. And I feel bad for him on a human level. He missed a season and a half of his prime from concussions, and now he just got concussed again. I mean, it's inarguable, and Rangers fans have spent the best thing about it is Rangers fans crying for a week about the league is in the bag for the Penguins. Yes, that's exactly right. The 25th market, the provincial Western Pennsylvania town is trumping the biggest media market in the world. Yeah, that's what's going on. The league, Gary Bettman handed down an announcement to the officials. Hey,
you're saying
make calls against the Rangers.
You're saying
it'll be better for us if the team in the biggest market is out as quickly as possible.
He makes a good case here that maybe the Penguins weren't getting all the calls ahead of time, and now.
But no, now today
I've seen Eddie's timeline. I don't know about this.
Crime. Yeah, it's sad that the guy who was perhaps past his prime and guys have replaced him as the face of the game, Connor McDavid and otherwise, sure. But a guy who was playing at the highest level in the sport is now out, apparently, once again. Yeah, it's a bummer on a human level.
Spaghetti.
A bummer on a human level.
First of all, he's not even ruled out. Like he said, he's day-to-day, and I would not be shocked if Crosby plays. Number two, national people who have gone over every single angle of the footage shows that he was not hit in the head directly. He was hit in the body, and his arm came up as he hit it. He was playing the puck, and he's playing it with his stick, so that it was not a direct shot to Crosby. Let's keep going. New York, not the face of the NHL. Who was when NBC had the NHL, whose picture was on every single NHL and NBC thing? It's Sidney Crosby versus Alexander Ovechkin. It was not Henrik Lundqvist and the New York Rangers. So the Rangers were not the focal point of the NHL for a decade plus. It was Sidney Crosby. So let's get that straight. Every single call has gone the Penguins' way. So for once, the league doesn't side with the Pittsburgh Penguins, and you have the Pittsburgh Penguins in their homer media saying oh, this looks like a dirty hit. Why? Because Mike Rupp, who played for both teams, said it. Mike Rupp also tweeted after it was over saying that he wasn't suspended because it was a clean play. It was an unfortunate hit, which is what happens. It's hockey. It's physical. I'm tired of what about Jeff Carter running Igor at the end of the game? It's just get over it. You're getting the help by every single call in this series. Everything 50-50 goes the Pens' way. So Trouba didn't send a missile at Crosby's head. He was playing the puck with the stick. Most of the contact from his stick arm into the gut of Crosby, and it comes up. The guy doesn't even leave his feet. There's multiple angles of this hit. Also, if Sidney Crosby doesn't leave the bench and just stays in the game, we're not even talking about this. But it's because it's Crosby who left the ice minutes later. Everyone's like, oh, we should be mad about this. And if he came back in the game, again, not an issue. But because it's Sidney Crosby, because it's 87, it has to be talked about. And the NHL player safety ruled already, not a dirty hit, not getting suspended, not getting fined. Jacob Jacob Trouba is like in conversation to become a captain of the Rangers, and he is one of the most skilled defensemen in the game. He's not a guy who does dirty hits. The Rangers wouldn't risk putting Jacob Trouba suspended for a game if he was going to actually injure somebody. They would have sent Ryan Reeves out or somebody. Like none of this thing makes sense about it. And look, I want to beat Crosby. I hope Crosby does play. I don't think the Rangers are going to win Game 6, but I would want to beat Crosby. I want him to be healthy. I don't want to see injuries. Jacob Trouba himself said this. So anything said otherwise is just complete and total nonsense.
I want to cut him off, but I also want to see how long it goes.
I was about to say, like, you would think he prepared notes. Like, he would think he prepared notes.
You're witness counselor.
That every call, every 50-50 call has gone the Penguins way.
But it has.
And the face of the game is owed to, yes, Sidney Crosby, the individual, is the face of the game in large part because he's won 3 Stanley Cups. Hank Lundqvist is not the face of the game because he never won a Stanley Cup. Neither will Igor Shesterkin, the head case, who, because people chant Igor at him, crumbles in front of a national audience. So they will probably survive the Penguins as a result of the headshot on the best player in the game, or certainly the Penguins' best player.
Hold on.
But
I just know this. I'm watching enough football to know that's not even a 15-yard penalty.
He's never going to win a Stanley Cup because he is plainly a head case.
Wow.
And so they'll survive the Penguins because they decided to take cheap shots. They've done it the entire series. The first 5 minutes, there were headshots on a couple of players, one of whom was one of their more skilled players, Ricky Raquel, who hasn't played the remainder of the series. The game 5 started with Jacob Trouba, who apparently is in line to be a captain of the team, which somehow makes him a good guy. I don't know what that equals. But anyway, Jacob Trouba, who starts the game with a headshot on Cenk Edsel, another skilled player, surprising. Then takes a headshot at Jacob Trouba, and it's all big.
Oh, we're going to forget about Evgeny Malkin cross-checking Kevin Rooney in the head. Like that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about Sidney Crosby shoving his stick into everyone's gut after every goddamn whistle. Like like how much help do you need? We gave you game 1. Game 1 should have been the Rangers, and then they wouldn't be talking about Igor never winning a cup because the Rangers are up now 3-2. So let's get the facts straight. Like you were given the game with the net was moved and the goal was scored. Of course, goal for the Penguins. Let's just avoid all the Penguins' dirty plays. But like you guys cry wolf. You guys do the same thing. The whiniest team in the NHL, and then you guys cry wolf when a player playing the puck it's an incidental contact. It happens. Move on. You're going to win the series. It's over with. Who cares?
Both saying the other team's going to win the series. What kind of fans are you? This is crazy.
Well, I mean, the best player in the series, certainly, and arguably.
He's not even ruled out. He's not even ruled out.
If he has a concussion, he's going to be out.
All right, let me just say that. Could I just
You got a concussion from this?
So before this game, Martin seen it for the first time.
No, I watched it earlier, but this isn't even a 15-yard roughing the passer penalty because of contact to the head.
Different sport, Martin.
But I'm just saying, if it I get that. But, we're talking about how you can't even hit anybody anymore. It's like, well, I think if this was a football play, everybody would be screaming about how the league's going soft.
Well, I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but yesterday on Against All Odds, Eddie was doom and gloom. I may not even watch the game. I don't even know how much of the game he watched.
I know. It's surprising he had so much information on a game that he announced on -3 he wasn't going to watch as well.
There's this thing called the internet, so you could read and you could listen to stuff. It's good.
All right. So anyway, but before the game, he was very down on this team, and the parlay kids like just win at home, and then you just got to take care of Game 6, and then you win Game 7. Like that's not really how it works, but whatever. It's in line to work, and he's like, I'll tell you one thing. Sid the Kid Crosby would not be able to pull this shit on the Islanders. They wouldn't allow for it. They would keep him in check. They would bust him up. He never was allowed to get over on the Islanders, and that's why they were so successful against the Penguins. I think Eddie Spaghetti heard this and said, hey, called some of his Rangers guys, like, take care of this guy.
Gerard Gallant heard it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Dispatched. He called the code red.
That was it?
Yeah. It's like QAnon. It's really like QAnon. Like, we're taking headshots, but and there's visual evidence of it, but it's like, that didn't happen. What are you talking about that happened? Like, well, I looked at the video. I saw it with my eyes. Like, January 6th didn't happen. What are you talking about? That was a peaceful protest. Like, what? I'm looking at, my eyes aren't betraying me here.
Oh, yeah, because like the Adam Schefter of the NHL, Frank Cervelli for TSN, tweeted out alternate angles where he doesn't even hit him in the head. So, like, I don't think think there's visual evidence that he hit him in the head. Are we going to compare what Darnell Nurse did, a headbutt, who's suspended for a game? That's not a hockey play. What is a hockey play is what Jacob Trouba was doing because he went after him with his stick first, and he tried to play the puck. It's incidental contact. It happens. Like, I don't, it is bizarre the world the Penguins fans live in. They just don't see it. They live in a bubble. They don't see how every other fan base views them and how everything goes their way. And when it doesn't, it has to be like reserved to crying. Like, for a team that's up 3-2 with Crosby still not even ruled out, it's bizarre the level of like homerism that's going on.
The fan base in New York wept for a full week,
and rightfully so, because the game was taken away from them. A game was taken away from them.
The icing's going against us. The officials are in the bag for the Penguins. They want the 25th market team to beat the team in the #1 media capital in the world. Is that a New York
accent and an old-time radio?
We're
just forgetting that Crosby's face is plastered on every billboard about hockey. We're just forgetting that.
This conversation, this entire table.
So what does that do with the market size? Who cares? Like, the Rangers were never the reason to watch the NHL. It was always Sidney Crosby.
Well, I will say there's an extra layer to this, although I don't think that this matters at all in the argument, but in the back and forth. But you guys, we did agree. Shek was reluctant, but we did agree to have you guys choose from the cap of consequences. And we thought at one point Pens were up 2-0 yesterday, right? I'm sending Eddie Spaghetti thing. There was a nice little gif of someone getting their hair cut. The cap of consequences, as it turns out, is if the Rangers lose, Dave cuts Eddie's hair. If the Rangers win, Shek plays holy goalie, has to dress like a priest while Eddie shoots hockey balls at him. So I thought the haircut was happening today.
I might do my Igor Shesterkin impression and not let any of them hit me. They'll just fly past me into the goal.
Well, wait a minute. But if that's the case, you'll have law. Okay. Yeah, I know what you're saying. All right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So anyway, I brought this up, and Eddie, tell us what your lovely girlfriend, Jada, soon-to-be fiancé.
Well, with my family flying in later today, and then we have Vegas next weekend, and then Hawaii with her family the weekend after that. She was like, especially now with my tooth got chipped, the bonding fell out. She was like, I want nothing to do with you having like a mohawk or a shaved head, like for these pictures for your 30th birthday with my family. And I said, well, that'd be great because I'd love to not be in these pictures. So I kind of want the haircut. So don't worry. I'm not going to rescind from the bet, but she's not thrilled.
Well, I told, he dodged the razor last night because he would have, there's a big get together, big to do this weekend for Eddie's birthday. So he would have had crazy, Dave, hair, well, like whatever you want for him, if they had held on yesterday, which would have been fun, Shek. But I also said, if Jada wants to step in and take it for herself so that you look good, we'll take that, right?
Like the receptionist in Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
Big celebration. I just shave her head
right
in front of there and everybody goes wild.
There you go.
At 2-0, really, I was thinking to myself, like, I'm not going to on top of this. I'm not going to cut the poor kid's hair.
Now you're mad again.
Well, maybe I could put an 87 in it if the Penguins somehow survive. Maybe that's what
Is that all right? Is that okay, Eddie?
Well, I mean, it's not really his choice, is it? But I mean, I don't really.
I'm fine with whatever.
I'm not interested in.
Oh, we have to have fun with it now because it's come full circle. But anyway,
for real though, if you're a sports fan, it's a bummer. I mean, Mikey Meatballs, you're a hockey fan. I know you don't like Sidney Crosby. You got to feel bad for the guy who's one of the 5 best players in the history of the game. Again, with another concussion, it sucks. It's just a shame for the sport.
I don't know. He's laughing.
I just know that every time LeBron gets hurt, I weep for him.
I feel bad for guys when it's like, oh man, that sucks for that guy.
That's the way he sounds.
But it is too different. Well, Spaghetti's saying there was no hit anyway. And Spaghetti says he wasn't even on the ice, Crosby. Like, he fell at home. But I don't know. But no, the other part of it is it's not either way, it's probably not intentional, right? So I don't know.
I mean, Trouba, in spite of those mounting a Lady Bing candidacy for him, is a hard-hitting mother, and he started the game with a plain headshot on Jay Gensel. Yeah. Again, the referees who were in the bag for the Penguins did see that one and gave it a 2-minute minor. But
all right,
it's all a fluke. It's just random that the best players on the Penguins are taking headshots all season.
Yeah, you'll have no problem. Just to clean this up once and for all, you'll have no problem with the Rangers moving on if Crosby's not playing as a result of that blow.
I said I want to beat Crosby. Me personally, I want the Rangers to beat him with him on the ice, and I think that because Trouba was paired with the Crosby line, obviously there's going to be more interactions with them on the ice, and like there's plenty of footage at this point to be like, yes, it was not an intentional hit. There was no head hunting involved whatsoever.
All right.
I hope he doesn't have a concussion. I hope he plays Game 6. That being said, the Pens getting plus money at home on the money line or getting the goal and a half, to me, that is by far the bet to take.
Cervalli is correct. Whatever his name is correct. And I always, as I said a week or so ago, I thought the goalie interference in Game 1 probably shouldn't have been called. But so I always go with hockey brings out the most the most emotion. It really does get you hot, and there's something inherent about the game that focuses your eyes on your team versus the other more than any other sport. So I always go to the third party objective sources. What did you randomly think? Spaghetti has cited a couple of people there. I don't think that what Frank is talking about is intent. Whether he intended to do it is one thing. The fact that he takes a headshot is pretty clear from certain angles of the camera. And if you
Mikey Meatballs, was it a headshot? Was it a headshot?
Notwithstanding, he takes a headshot.
Was it intentional? Was it a headshot?
Eddie just sent me a tweet from Frank Cervelli. This is the guy we're talking about.
Yeah, we've heard about Frank.
Yeah. He says, honestly, I'm not entirely sure Trouba's elbow even touches his head. And that was what I thought the first time I watched the video.
Well, then what happened?
I don't know.
Crosby imagined it.
He got hit.
Well, you see, this is what happens.
No, but they're saying
such a puss.
No, but
when your whole organization is just built on the
Hold on, I don't have all these hang-ups. I'm dropping in here from 1,000 feet away. All I'm seeing is I watch people run into each other all the time. These two people ran into each other.
But Coach Sullivan is calling it a upper body injury, right?
So maybe, yeah.
Well, I don't know, but I don't know.
Sullivan, who, and again, Meatballs can objectively, if he wishes to, weigh in on this. One thing Mike Sullivan does, he was a mucker himself. He is not inclined to call people out. He's the disdain of Penguins fans. In fact, they're like, why don't you take a run at their best players? And why don't you disparage them? They just went after your guys. He's like, I don't get into that. I don't want to do that. This was out of line for Sullivan. I mean, out of character for him to weigh in. This was a bold statement by his measure to say, you saw the hit. I'm sure you felt the same way I did about it. That to him is from that source is a hot take to accuse.
All right, let's move on. I love this.
I thought the problem was he hit him too high. Like he hit him in the shoulder. I thought maybe you couldn't hit him up there.
I thought not high enough. I mean, is there something above the head?
Probably not. Depending on your hairstyle.